you can be an artist but also be successful in production. LA Reid, it seems like he was a drummer before, so he got called
he was a drummer,
drummer. And then next thing you know, you don't see him playing drums on stage. He's doing other things in the industry now. And I was saying this to a parent the other day, bro. There's many ways to make money within the music industry, and we are just focused in terms of being on the stage, playing the instruments, and leaving it like that. LA Reid and Babyface are testament of you don't have to be the artist that you see every 2 seconds to actually make the money. Yeah, you know what I mean? And this is not just about making money, but you need money to pay the bills. Yeah, you know what I mean? You need money to be 100% full-time ministry. You need income streams.
Affinity Xtra, be extra.
Yeah, guys, this is your boy here, Roger Moore here, alongside my good friend Kevin Tomlin, the black music historian. Now, before we've been away for a few weeks on this subject anyway, so yeah, probably about a month we haven't touched on much. So we're giving everybody a bit of a rest, giving ourselves a bit of a rest to charge back up. But yeah, we have to show you guys the reason why we're doing this on the Gospel Network station. If you're thinking why we're lifting up non-gospel artists out there, you know, before we get into this, is we had to show is that there is business models within the entertainment world for black people that has success. And the reality of the situation is that in a Christian music model in this UK, it's depressing as a black person thinking that we can't achieve anything. But what's inspired me, thanks to my friend Kevin Tomlin, who given us his information in these conversations, I am now going, you know what, Celia, we can achieve. We have actually ran this industry. Yeah, but the problem that we had is that we over here, especially in the UK kingdom, don't know the power that we have. You know what I'm saying? We are, if dare I say, we are the best. Yeah, it's just that we don't realize that it's been done. Yeah, and we just need to step up and look at successful business models within the music world and apply them to where we are here in the UK gospel music industry. Now, today's subject, guys, I'm going to let Kevin come in a second. We're looking at an artist which I bumped into as a youth, Babyface. Seemed to do a few couple tracks, you know, with the guitar out there still and what's going on. And there's this geezer I just heard about now and again, LA Reid, thinking who's this dude anyway. So you ended up to ignore this guy, yeah. And a guy that you cannot ignore is actually 1 year older than my dad. Big man things that, you know, big man things. But so these guys are not youths. No one's Babyface ain't no youths either. You know what I mean? These are big men that's been in the industry, and I think too often we think we got to be youths and doing everything. These guys have taken a decade just to get to where they are, you know, if not 2 decades. So I'm gonna kick things off now, Kevin. It's been a while, mate. Kevin's making sure he's getting his earpieces in, man. We had pure technical issues today, guys. It's just like, just one of those days. Don't take you personal. And please don't tell me that's not a song which them guys have done, by the way. I hope not, you know. So Kevin, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, bro, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, brother.
Very well, yeah.
Right, so talk to us, man. Right, Babyface, bro, LA Reid, where do we start? Where does it all begin? Let's start from the beginning there, bro. Just introduce it to us, and you know, I'm gonna sit back and relax, and you just talk, and I'll jump in when I need to.
LA and Babyface go back to the 80s. I mean, they started their career on the West Coast, working for a black-owned label called Solar Records. The first successful year of Solar Records, they did $40 million.
That's not bad.
In the early 80s. Well, if you quantify that in today's currency, that's probably about 200 million. $200 to $300 million.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's a black label now, where you had Shalimar come out to that musical workshop, Whispers, and Dynasty, Dell, and so forth. Several major recording entities came out to that label, and production teams.
Okay.
And from that label, we have from that label, we had a brilliant sound engineer that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis used called Steve Hodges. Steve Hodges is a guy that we need to talk about at some point.
Okay, cool.
Mic sound engineer. Master sound engineer was responsible for second time around, and the beat goes on, etc.
Okay, cool.
Anyhow, yeah. So LA and Babyface, right? They started. I don't want to get into too much detail, but the thing is that they became a production team in 1987. 1987. That was the year. I mean, the year that the OJs did their last R&B number one, "Loving You," for the Philadelphia International Records. That's the last time. That was the last artist on Philadelphia International Records to do a number one during the 1980s. Right. "Loving You," which knocked, dethroned Bad off the number one position. "Loving You," yeah, knocked. A veteran vocal group and a veteran production team knocked Bad right off the number one position. But anyhow, listen, that was just giving a little body and history there. LA Babyface first number one was "Rock Steady" by the Whispers. Rock steady, rocking all night long. Rock. No, I can't imitate it, but anyhow, and the album became a platinum seller. That means it sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, man.
That was the first time that LA and Babyface did produce a number one hit record that year. And it went gold, the single, and the album went platinum. That was on the solo record.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they got called in to do a number one track for a lady by the name of Pebbles. Pebbles became the wife of L.A. Reid, of course. You know, eventually.
Okay, yeah.
Pebbles. Very attractive woman too, you know, Pebbles. Very brilliant. Pebble, the singer was "Girlfriend," reached the top of the Billboard Hot Black Singles Chart weekend in the 20th of February 1988. This is the second time they did a number one, and it was there for 2 weeks. The song was first written for Vanessa Williams, but negotiation fell through. So in the end, Pebbles recorded the song, and it became a big hit for both L.A. Reid and Babyface as producers and songwriters outside of solo record, because that was their first hit outside of the solo record. Because remember this, with the black label Solo Records.
Okay,
which is the sound of Los Angeles. That's what it means.
Okay, cool.
Sound of Los Angeles.
Okay, then for that. Yeah, cool.
Solar Records, sound of Los Angeles. See? You know something new today, don't it?
For real, man. Nothing's new.
So, right. So that hit the track running. Now, okay. Solo Records, the sound of Los Angeles, became one of the most successful black labels during the 80s. It created a new wave on the West Coast, part of the West Coast sound, yes? All right. They had their own studio place, a studio production. If you go on my website, you see, I give a story of Solo Records and the gentleman who was a visionary. Solo Records was a spin-off from the Soul Train.
Oh, the Soul Train vibe. Yeah. I can see from their even their logo is very hippie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Because Soul Train, it was called Soul Records at first, Soul Train Records, and then when Dick Griffin bought out the shares of Don Cornelius, and eventually did his own operation, which he started in the late 70s. And then by 1980, then he explodes on the scene with second time around being the number one for Shalimar. And that was a million seller. And also Whispers did as the beat goes on. As the beat goes on, Remember that
Oh,
track?
yeah.
Which was a monster hit in the UK and a million seller in the US. And it became Whisper's first R&B hit of their career at that time, because they took over and became the premier soul vocal group of the 80s.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, they became the big boys, moving some serious units at the time. And Solar Records was the company that they were contracted to, black label. Yeah, it became a major black label. Yes,
Okay.
So on that, so both L.A. Reid and Babyface got to develop their career, while and Bill Griffin was a very, very, very good man. Actually, he really created a career for these guys and made them our soul name. Matter of fact, he allowed them to use his studio, gallery studio, and to develop their production skills and studio skills, learning how to master the mixing board, how to produce, how to understand expanding sound. They were taught by a great record producer and sound engineer called John Grass, Gass.
Okay.
He taught them for several years how to operate within the recording studio, and he taught. According to L.A. Reid, it was like going to a postgraduate class. Every day they were there learning all the skills.
That's good. That's good. Learning again.
And remember, they were given the opportunity to do that by the black label owner, Dick Griffin. Dick Griffin was a promoter at first. He promoted. He was a promoter. And he knew all the big names. He promoted Four Tops, Temptation, the OJs, everybody. Okay, cool. Before he became a label owner. So he was very connected in the industry, and he was very interested to empower his own black brothers. And he taught them, helped them to become successful production team. Isn't that good? Mentored them. Yes, mentored. Taught them end of the industry.
And bro, just pause it right there still. And I think what we have to sometimes, guys, we have to recognize all these things that Kevin's saying. If you're saying, okay, guys, Roger, what's the whole point of this? People are teaching so and so, and teach people teaching so and so. Yeah, something that I've been talking to different producers, people from the history, people from back in the day. I think is the importance of learning the trade from the generation before you. They might not seem like, they might not play music like you. But you've got to extract out of them what they've learned. And I think there's a major handicap that we have in the UK gospel industry, which is inability to plug into the ones that have already done it and worn a t-shirt. We always come like that. They don't apply to us. Their skills don't apply to us. Promotion is promotion. So if I'm a printer, I originally was in printer. My success is based upon media. But bro, there's not much difference. If not, it's just things that is differently when you do the radio station and when you do in a magazine. The core elements for me, from looking from a project management, media is media. Yeah, and it may be old school media paper, but you have to realize the same things apply for when later on, when you're doing events now, when you do Facebook, some of the things, it's different techniques on Facebook, but it's still there's things that just apply every single time. The mentality, the mindset, the ability to project manage, how you communicate, all these things still apply. So it's so important that we pull out extract from this when Kevin's talking that we got to absorb information. We've said this countless times. You can go back into a lot of our conversations, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and all these guys that we've talked about in the past. We talk about the Philadelphia. If you check out things on there, it's all about learning. It's all about grafting. It's all about putting your head down and just learning. And too often we come out to uni like we know and don't want to know, and that just doesn't apply as a production. It also applies to our marketing skills. These things that we learn at uni, we don't bring them to the table and say, I'm here to learn from you, bro. And when you work, you go get the coffee first, and then you just move on from there, bro. So that's how I feel about it, bro. I don't know if but you carry on, bro. But I thought to jump in.
Your summary is indeed correct. They learned from the ground up. L.A. Reid, they did live concerts. They got signed to the label, and they eventually evolved into production. Yes. Such people as the Calloway brothers taught them vocal arrangement and vocal recording.
Okay.
Because the Calloway brothers is another group of brothers who came out from the Solar Record Musical Workshop. That's another subject, because they returned Teddy Prendergast back to the top after his accident. You know, gave him his first number one with Joy, and you know, Love Overboard for Gladys Knight in the Pip, and Oh Casanova for Levert. See, these, you know, all these different production teams that came out of the Solar Record Musical Workshop, and they became production entities and big sellers too, you know. You see?
I'm seeing this all there. And guys, you can back this up, and some of these elements, these names, the Calloway, and this is what artists need to recognize.
Calloway, yeah,
Calloway.
Calloway
You can be an artist, but also be successful in production. L.A. Reid, it seems like he was a drummer before, so he got called
he was a drummer,
drummer. And then next thing you know, you don't see him playing drums on stage. He's doing other things in the industry now. And I was saying this to a parent the other day, bro. There's many ways to make money within the music industry, and we are just focused in terms of being on the stage, playing the instruments, and leaving it like that. L.A. Reid and Babyface are testament of you don't have to be the artist that you see every 2 seconds to actually make the money. Yeah, you know what I mean? And this is not just about making money, but you need money to pay the bills. Yeah, you know what I mean? You need money to be 100% full-time ministry. You need income streams. Yeah? So we need to look at these guys to see their success, to see how they move forward. If you're saying, oh, Roger, you should look at the secular music and this and that, we have to show is a lot of the pastors these days are coming through are looking at successful motivational speakers, a lot of businessmen, and looking at their successes and how to apply it to their life while the rest of the congregation ain't looking. Yeah, so that's the reality, bro. You know what I mean? But anyway, bro, carry on, man. Carry on.
Thing about it, when you look at L.A. Reid and Babyface, they were making money as production teams, songwriters, right, label owners, right, and they were making money through concert tours. But the major money is made by songwriting and production. That's where the serious money, because you're getting ching-ching money long after the record not in front. Yeah. So, and you have to remember that as you follow the story of L.A. and Babyface, you realize how successful they were, because they created some of the best-selling singles during the 80s and the 90s. Some of them broke records and knocked people such as Elvis Presley out to the number one position as the longest running number one single. That's the record they broke. But we get to that anyhow. But let's just look at their development. Their second hit, or non-solo record hit, was with Pebbles. And Pebbles became once the former wife of L.A. Reid. They both fell in love, and you know the rest is history. Yeah. And of course, Pebbles was the manager. She was managing TLC as well. When L.A. Reid started his record label, underwritten by Arista Record under Clive Davis. You know, that's
not bad there still, bro.
That's another dimension altogether when they became label owners, right? But look at their production in particular. Now, by the time they actually did Pebbles number one in 1988, they went on to do a one hit with a Mac band called the Mac Campbell Brothers.
Yeah.
Roses Are Red. That was a monster hit, and which features L.A. Reid playing drums, and with, of course, Babyface forming background vocals and playing the guitar, etc. You know, keyboards. Because with L.A. Reid was a serious drummer. You know, a lot of people don't realize he was a very accomplished percussionist and drummer. Yeah?
Ooh, okay.
And then later on, because of due to illness and so on. He could not play, because it was pretty hard. So he became a successful executive in the end. But let's just go back to
mate. Go for it.
So, and right after that, their third number one, that's where it really get big, was for Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel, yes? And that was the self-title for the album, which the album sold 6 million copies in 1988. 6 million
That's not bad.
copies, bro.
That's not bad, Bobby. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's Bobby's most major solo, because Bobby was one of the former singers for the New Edition, Yeah, well, the New Edition was power group.
Yeah, man.
Yes, it's power group. So I'm reading a lot of notes here. It became number one week ending the 28th of July 1988 for 2 weeks. The album Don't Be Cruel was a huge success, selling over 6 million copies.
Okay.
Both nationally and overseas, helping to raise the profile of L.A. Reid and Babyface as major producers. You produce an album that does 6 million copies, and you were the only producer on the album. Wasn't co-produced by anybody else, by these two brothers.
Okay.
And it did. And so they became a major creative force and in demand. They were in demand now because you did 6 million copies. Everybody around the world is going to know about you.
Yeah.
They became a major force within the music industry. Not only the black music industry, but the music industry globally.
Yep.
Yeah? Right.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That's not
So
bad.
it says by 1980, both were on a hot hit trail. They were hot. They were on a trail now. Blazing trail. In demand.
Okay.
Like across both in America and England and other major music markets across the globe.
Okay, cool.
You want them to work with them. So they were in demand. Everybody from Madonna, this, that, want them, want a piece of that pie.
Yeah. Yep.
And in the process, they had another hit to their bow with a female artist by the name of Karen White. Remember Karen White? Yes.
Oh,
Karen White from Warner Brothers. And this album that they did went platinum too, Yeah, went platinum as well, bro, during the same year. So in actual fact, they created about a few platinum albums in 1988.
Not bad, guys.
Yeah,
not bad.
And the track was The Way You Love Me, R&B number one soul, number one record on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart. On the 29th of October 1988, for 1 week. According to Reid, the song was a blend of hip-hop with elements of jazz, and also with some funk beats in it.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one to do with Karen White, The Way You Love Me.
Okay.
And Warner Brother, in 1988 that came out. As I said, it was number one on the 29th of October 1988 for 1 week. Okay. Yeah. Now that actually created their signature sound. That was one of the tracks that created a signature sound of it. So they had a sound that was completely different from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Course.
I remember with L.A. and Babyface, that was a West Coast signature sound. That's where they were coming out and doing their production. While Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was creating their sound in Minneapolis. Yeah, so it became part of the Minneapolis sound.
Right, and that's incredible, man. There's so many different sounds out there.
Many different sounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, with Prince coming into the mix. Well, Prince is another. That's another different story.
Let's not bring that in here.
That's another different discussion.
Yeah.
The last thing I was saying, Dial My Heart by The Boys, who was contracted to Motown Records, and they had their last number one with that on. This was the 10th of December 1988 with the track Dial My Heart by The Boys.
By The Boys, that's a group by The Boys, yeah? Cool.
Yeah, so in actual fact, by 1988, they had 3, 4 number ones.
Okay, cool.
Oh, matter of fact, no. Let me correct it. By the way, they had 5 number ones in 1 year. Pebbles first, the Mac Campbell Brothers or Mac Band. 2, Don't Be Cruel. 3 by Bobby Brown, and then next one was by Karen White with The Way You Make Me Love Me. The Way You Make Love Me. The Way You Love Me, right?
Okay, yeah.
That was number 4, and number 5 was Dial My Art by The Boys on Motown Records at the end of December. 5.
Okay, they got around a bit, man. Yeah, that's not bad.
I remember with that, there were several platinum albums in the mix. There was about 4 of those acts had platinum and multi-platinum hits. Hello?
Guys,
these brothers, that is major.
Yeah.
So in actual fact, they probably generated about, maybe if you look at it globally with all those hits, probably generated about $100 million. That alone.
100 million. Jeez. And this is when I'm thinking Babyface was just some small fry on the side. And
no, Babyface, brother, when we go through remember Babyface, by the time Babyface peaked at one point, he had 26 number one hits, 26 number one, including pop as well. The brother is serious.
Nah, that's
brother, him and L.A. Reid were, they're major, bro.
So
major.
I know we're going to get into the juicy part, of their thing with part 2 and so on and so. So I just want to really establish this introduction that we kind of bring into to the reacts, because I know you're hitting us with some facts and figures, but I want to bring it more rounder. Yeah. Now we're looking at guys that basically. We see them doing LaFace records, so people who know back in the day had LaFace records going on and whatever, and what we have to realize is that a lot of these records that we saw in the 90s, again, they were off the back of things like Solar Records. And Solar Records was almost like sounds like a bit of a spin-off from what's that train, the gospel soul train. So that was so when we look at Soul Train, we don't realize the spin-offs of these sort of things was these records companies kind of built. So I will look at these things and ignorantly say, look, we never capitalized on it, but we did really the fruit of us having our own shows and doing stuff. Yes, there's some issues when they said people have looked back at them shows and said, oh, we didn't get paid right and but the thing is, it was a platform for music at the time, which was called it was just coming out of being called race music, would be called, it's a time for black music to thrive, black culture to come through, and it laid foundations into businesses, multi-million-pound businesses like Solar Records. And looking at the logo, there ain't no multi-million-pound business in that logo, the original logo. But the reality show is, and we go into LaFace, so we have to look at LaFace, and we can't look at LaFace and say, oh, they became successful overnight because they did Amazing Degree. No. They spent a decade within Solar Records and around them people. Absolutely crazy.
They learn the craft before they launch into solo. Before they went solo, they learned the craft of the industry, the production, arrangement.
And that's
and
where
how to work as a team, musical team, and
business options as well, because you remember in the 80s, if you listen back to 80s like 80s and 90s, early 90s programs, they've got the craziest soundtracks going on behind them and whatever. And this is where a lot of these guys not only produced music for music's sake, they also produce music to be distributed with films and so on. And then all of a sudden you see these little rare grooves, licks and R&B stuff going on, and the industry, we were free flowing with film decades ago in the US, and in the UK we pretend like it never happened. Oh, we get one track and that's it. You know what I'm saying? No, it's been happening long time. It's just that we need to stand up and own it.
Well, by the way, this is interesting about LA Face and Babyface. and so on, and Terry Riley and so forth, these new production entities. By the time the 90s came around, I'm just doing a summary, there was about approximately between 30 to 40 movie soundtracks, black movie soundtracks, that was doing 500,000 units or platinum, which is 1 million units. They were doing platinum.
Yeah,
many of them were platinum sellers or gold sellers. It was between 30 to 40.
Yeah.
From most of the black labels. Either from Prince label, either from Prince, because remember Purple Rain during the 80s, that sold nearly, it peaked at about 19 million copies, the soundtrack. During the 80s, during the time that LA Babyface, it was phenomenal. Actually, by the mid 80s, black recording entities, artists was doing about over 30% of the gross earning of the US market. 30%, bro. So when you think about including LA Babyface, what they were doing, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and then you drop Prince in there, and you drop Quincy in there, bro, and people like Lionel Richie, and all dancing all night long. That was a 10 million copy album, you know.
And I think it's important, guys. You know,
brother.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah. Go on. And so guys, it's really important that, you know, before we go into the next part of this series, and hopefully we get around all the technical issues that we're having here right now still, It's just been one of those days. As I said, just one of those days. But I am taking it personal almost, man. It's like, oh my goodness, my phone is like, oh, what a day. But ultimately, guys, you know, it's really important that we take the industry these industry knowledge, these industry pearls from these conversations. Look into LA Reid, look into Babyface. Yes, their personal life might be different to our life. They might have different belief systems in us and whatever, but we have to see the versatility that you need to have in this creative world to be true, successful creatives in this industry. It's cutthroat out there, guys. It is absolutely cutthroat, but we need to be able to expand our gifting and understand how we can finance ourselves, because your success is my success. If we have successful artists out there, Kevin, they'll get advertising on Affinity Xtra, and that'll bless me, and it just creates more success, and there's more success, and we bless each other, we grow together, and we grow an ecosystem which is there to sustain everybody. But at the moment, everyone's chasing the £1 in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's it. There's only £1 in the whole scene. But the reality show is we can grow this, guys, if we start to hone our crafts, and it can transcend different genres, different platforms out there. Because
I mean, we just right there touch the tip of the iceberg. Actually, we haven't talked about what they did from '89 onwards. We just talk about little
the foundation. This is the intro. This is introduction. This is introduction of them.
Introduction, really.
They're just learning at this stage, guys. They're just learning. You know what I'm saying? Under Solar Records. These guys are learning. And it's important that, you know, we understand that there's different chapters of our lives, and our chapters don't go on 1 year here or 1 year here. No, the chapters go in 5 to 10 years doing this, grinding, learning to work with so and so.
That's right,
you know,
and
we've seen so many things I've learned from our conversations with Kevin. If you want to look back, I didn't even realize that Jimi Hendrix was with Isley Brothers. You know what I'm saying? And their guitarist learned from when the Isley Brothers learned his skills and crafts.
And learned from watching. Watching the brother.
Jimi Hendrix. I thought Jimi Hendrix didn't even play with nothing to do with black people, but he did. You know what I'm saying? We 100% did. So it's important that we get to understand these things, because how history is portrayed to us, it's not there to lift us up. You know what I'm saying? It's there to make us think, another one bites the dust. No, the history gets depicted through media to make us look negative. So guys, we're here to be positive about it here on Affinity Xtra. Kevin, we'll sort out the issues next time, but listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the Edge, and you know, listen to more tracks on the Edge, man. You know what I'm saying? And do like and subscribe, and check out our YouTube videos that we have on here, all about black history music. We've got playlists out there. Check out Kevin's details for Signature Sound is going to be in the description. So let's, you know, support his book book out there as well. His books that are on Amazon. So let's support our people and our network, yeah? It's important too, yeah? God bless you. Roger, over and out. Kevin, take care, brother. Yeah?
Yeah,
and we're going to go into some more,
Thank you.
tracks, man. Bless you.
Thank you.
What's going on, people? I'm DJ H here. Make sure you check out all the stuff Affinity Extra's got going on, man. We've got loads of content, loads of things coming out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, you know. Listen. Don't go anywhere, you know. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe is the main thing. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it with your brethren, yeah?